Hi, it's Jane with the Compassion Project, and I am here today with Brittney Faye Roswell from Medicine Hat. Hi,
Hi,
Brittney.
everybody.
Yeah, Brittney and I connected through the Compassion Project, and so a little bit about her. She was born and raised in Kelowna, Canada. That's actually where I live, Okanagan Valley. She now lives in Medicine Hat, and she's lived there for 10 years. And she is a busy mom. She has three beautiful children. Emily is 7, Deacon is 4, and Xander is 8 months, right,
Yeah,
Brittany?
yeah.
And she's also a stepmom to her stepson Zach. And oh, how lucky are you? So you've got really 4 children in
Oh,
your
yeah.
life. Brittany is kind and caring and selfless, but she has had her share of struggles during this pandemic. Oh my goodness. It's interesting to me how what we don't know about other people and their journeys and what they're going through, right? So yeah, I invited her on to share her story. I do want to talk about your business. So
Yeah.
she also is the creator and owner of Faye's Custom Designs, and she's a hairdresser and esthetician. So welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
So yeah, let's just start like before the pandemic, what your life was like, and then kind of how it's changed. Because I know there's a few things that happened, like your fiance, and we'll just kind of share what's happening.
So, last year, before and during my pregnancy, I was actually going to school and working. So I met my fiance at a military base out here in Suffield, and I've worked there for 2 years. Um, so I'm a civilian bartender right on camp.
Fun.
If some of you guys don't know, so I'm a busy mom. I've always worked. And when so with everything going on with school and work and raising my kiddos, it can get pretty tough. I do suffer with depression. I had a really rough childhood.
You had a
So
really rough childhood?
yes. So
Oh,
I've suffered with depression for quite some time. I was diagnosed when I was probably about 12, 13.
really?
So, and then with having kids, I do have postpartum depression as well. So, it's very important to remember that, I don't take the easy way out of anything. It's hardwired in me. So right after I had during my pregnancy, I stopped taking my antidepressants because I was more terrified of the effects that it would have for my baby than it would for me.
Good for
And
you.
so I tried really hard, and being pregnant was a struggle when it came to the depression part. But I also worked lots, and if I wasn't working or going to school, I was actually volunteering for the musical out here that we have at the Playhouse. If anybody knows Medicine Hat, we have a musical Playhouse. So I did a lot of volunteer work there for the Titanic musical.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was lots of fun. One of the actual actors in it, he is a great grandson of the original one of the men on the Titanic. So
Really?
it
Wow.
was lots of fun. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to experience it and just to be a part of a community that
Hmm.
loves, they have the passion to make other people smile and just be there for each other. So with everything going on, and we knew that with Christmas just around the corner, that my fiance would be sent back to the UK. So
Okay,
uh,
so let's clarify that. So he is with the British military, your fiance?
yes, he's a
And
British
when
military.
was he sent back?
So he was sent back the end of November.
Okay.
Actually, no, sorry. He was supposed to be sent back end of November. He ended up getting sent back in December. So we ended up having an extra 2 weeks unplanned, which was lovely. With me working and going to school and volunteering during this entire pregnancy, I ended up getting bedridden for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up stretching my round ligament that holds the baby in place on both sides. So it was like I was just tearing muscles, and it was like, Brittney, you're overworking yourself. But that's how I coped with my depression, because if I wasn't too busy, I'd overthink everything, and that was my way of dealing with my depression, which it's not good.
Plus, you have the little, like Emily's 7 and Deacon's 4 too. So when was the last time you saw your fiance?
So before this pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, so the last I saw him was December. It was probably December 10th, December 11th. And he was supposed to be out in January. We tried to get him out here for the birth of our son, but because we weren't married, we were denied.
Oh, wow.
So he kept trying, and they kept denying him. So he wasn't there for the birth of our son. We did Skype and we FaceTime every single day, multiple times a day. So technically, Xander has 2 birthdays because there's 7 hours difference from us.
Oh, okay.
So I had him, and it's funny because I had him January 23rd at 4:36 our time in Alberta, and in the UK it's 7 hours difference. So he woke up. I called him. I said, I'm in labor. It's time to push. Like, I just want to let you know. And so once we finished and like cleaned him up, then I called him right back, and I'm like, here's your son. So he's written down the time that he found out of the birth and the time he actually was born.
So has your fiance, has he met his son?
So he got to meet him in March. He was
okay, that's good.
So he was supposed to be here January because of work and everything, but we wanted him to be out a little earlier just because of the baby's birth, and we were denied. So then with COVID hitting out in China, it started becoming a problem because we didn't know if he was allowed out here. So
right.
It just kept getting pushed back, and my daughter's birthday's in February, so he missed his stepdaughter's birthday, and then we got a surprise call saying, listen, you're finally allowed to go back to Alberta. You're on the next flight. So he was out here in March, and then because of COVID becoming worldwide, we started getting cases out in Canada and Ontario and Toronto. We only had him for 10 days. So we had quarantine out here, but instead of having him quarantined on the base, they were very kind enough to have him quarantined at home with us. So
that's good.
He get to finish quarantine with us because in the UK, quarantine's for 3 weeks, not 2 weeks.
Oh.
So they ended up taking him a little really early from us, even during quarantine. But so he got to see his son for 10 days, and we haven't seen each other since.
Oh, that must be so hard.
It's been a struggle. I've been raising all 3 kiddos on my own, and I did start maternity leave before we had the wave out here, but it's still tough because last year I had to, or it wasn't, well, it's not even, but the last school year, I had my daughter home, so it was the 2 boys and my daughter trying to do her homeschooling, and it was just a nightmare. And then my depression got really bad, and then we found out the news. So in March, right after I had the baby, and we do our checkups here. So it's the baby's born, they do the checkup on the baby, but they don't do you until a few weeks after.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until they finally did my checkup and all my tests and everything in March is when they did all that, and then it takes a couple more weeks, and then it was in August we found out about my cervical cancer. So
oh my goodness, Brittney, you poor thing.
Well, I have endometriosis, so I've known since I was 16 about the cancer and the precancerous cells and the endometriosis, and all the scars and everything. So it was just a matter of when it would hit and when it wouldn't. And it just came to the time that it was like, hello, now you have to deal with me too. So,
Wow, life is really challenging for you, hey? Are you able to stay positive, or how do you find uh,
so
you're able to
I like
stay?
I like to plan everything. I'm very OCD with that. I do like to plan a lot. But that was one of my biggest challenges with my depression was planning so much. I don't like to live in the moment. It's one of those things, having a rough childhood, and some people being in my life and not being in my life. I left home at a very young age,
Oh, okay.
and um, I ended up doing a lot on my own afterwards. I had a hard time just even venting, let alone, talking to somebody. I bottled everything up, and when I had a problem, I ended up just leaving and doing it on my own. So,
Wow.
like, I have this issue, I got to fix it, I got to resolve it, and just being, I've always been very independent since I was very, very young.
How
Um,
old were you when you left home? Like when you were young?
I was,
15?
yeah,
Oh, that is so young.
yeah,
And so it's interesting because I like recently, well, last couple of years, actually done a lot of work, personal growth and like mindset. And it's so interesting because so much goes back to our childhood.
yeah.
And I didn't realize because I had issues as a child. I had an eating disorder when I was 16. I had, and I had a criminal record from shoplifting. Like I'd gone sideways when I was a teenager. Um, I had a family that loved me, but we all have issues and things you have to go through. And I struggled. I didn't realize the power of healing your brain. A lot of people tell you that, you work out, take care of your body and take care of your muscles and go to the gym, but no one tells you that you can actually heal your brain. And I don't know if you saw the chat I did the other day with Cindy Shaw. She's from Kelowna, and she's an aim and brain health coach. She's unbelievable.
Oh,
She helps
I
you
saw a
heal
little
your
bit.
brain. Hmm?
Okay, I saw a little bit, but I got too busy with the kids running around. So,
Honestly, she has a link. I should send it to you, or you could go and click it. It's a free, it's this 20-minute video, and she teaches you about the brain. But I didn't realize how it affects your life. Like you said, you made a statement. I don't know if you're aware of it, but you said, I don't like to live in the moment. I like to
yeah.
plan. And what's interesting, what I've learned is almost all depression happens when you don't live in the moment because we get lost in our crazy
So,
mind.
it's actually funny because when I was very young. I'm Portuguese. So, if anyone's on here from Kelowna, if you know my actual name, I don't go by my legal name and I don't go by my mom's last name either. I go by who I saw as someone to look up to. So Roswell is, I I looked up to him like a stepfather. But my family, they out there in Kelowna, they're not very good people. Both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side. So my mom's side, like the Portuguese. I was born and raised Portuguese, so we didn't speak about. It was like we have family matters, we keep them to us. And they're Roman Catholic. So if there's anybody from Kelowna that knows our family, they know I've been disowned from my family.
Oh,
So
wow.
um, so yeah, when I was younger, it was always a competition with my aunt and her kids. Like she's always wanted a boy, she never got a boy. She only had three girls. And I noticed when I grew up, my parents split when I was very young. And I never like this is my mom's surprise visiting me is the first time I've actually seen her in over 10 years. It's been almost 12, maybe 13.
Oh, yeah. So people don't know this. Your mom surprise visited you. When did she arrive?
So she arrived on Monday with my sister.
Wow. How's it
So
going?
it's good. I thought it was going to be a little weird, but we didn't speak for the longest time, and it has not like when you think about back, so a lot of my childhood I would block out a lot because we did have lots of horrible things happen to us as kids. But when my mom and my dad split, my mom has three of us. So there's two girls and one boy. And um, my grandmother is, I don't know if it's a Portuguese thing or what, but the boys are always they're always the golden children, and this is how I saw it growing up. But then finally speaking to my mom after years and years, I know her reasoning now, but as a child, I was too young to understand it.
Yeah.
Um, but with my mom, with my grandmother and my grandfather, they they've always been. They didn't split up. Like my grandfather passed away, still married to my grandmother.
Oh,
So they were, there was two in one family. There, it was strong, and if you had problems, you worked on it. Like,
yeah.
so, but with that, we had like my grandmother had only three living children. She had a few miscarriages, but she had two girls and one boy, and so the boy always got spoiled, and the oldest, which was my aunt, she always got spoiled as well. It was the oldest and the boy, and when we were kids growing up, it was like my daughter's better than your daughter, and it
Oh
was
my goodness.
so if I joined the cadets, my cousin had to join. If I was modeling, my cousin had to be a better model. It was
Yeah.
all competition. And growing up, my mom, she had only three of us, and being a single parent and going to school as well, I didn't know all her struggles until now, where I'm actually, living the same. Like, I've noticed in the past 2 weeks alone, it's like, holy crap, I actually know what my mom went through now. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, I thought that, and sometimes I still see it as it being, but it's just little bits here and there. But my sister, my grandmother loved my sister because she was the youngest, and it was just her little baby. So I was the oldest, and then my brother was the middle child. So
Mhm.
my brother always got everything, and then my grandmother always paid attention to my sisters, so I always felt left out.
Yeah.
And when I did try to speak up, it was like my aunt or my uncle trying to like put me down even more. So it just got to
Yeah.
the point, it was like, back then I was very depressed, and it was a combination of events that happened as a child. So we had a lot of abuse as children, on my dad, with visits with my dad and with other family members. And it's just, I think it's the old school Portuguese that they didn't
Mhm.
realize it wasn't okay. So
Well, I think
for
it's good that you're in medicine hat and you're strong on your own, because I think the hardest thing is to know that we aren't our past. Even though
right,
it's there, you can actually learn from it and become strong. Be like, I'm not going to raise my kids like that, and I'm going to change. And it sounds like, you seem like such a good mom.
yeah, so I ended up leaving. Like, I felt I couldn't express myself at home because of the bad stuff that was happening. And it's not, I tried to like I try to make it clear that yes, I had a rough childhood, but it's not, it's not all. I don't blame my parents for it. Like, I do blame my father for a lot of things, but that is on him, and he knows why. He can be in
Mhm.
denial, but um I've noticed, like, when I did leave, I blamed everybody. And the reason why I left was because when I was 12, I tried to kill myself.
Aw.
And I tried a few times, and it was actually my friends and my teachers that are like, Brittney, you have so much to live for, and you're smart, and you have a future. You just need to find a way to, help yourself and just heal. And so my way of dealing with it was packing up and leaving. So I
Yeah.
packed up and left. I left my family, and I ended up going into foster care, where my biological father found out, and he actually kidnapped me from my foster parents.
Oh my goodness.
And
You can write
so
a book, Brittany.
for 2 years, it was like I didn't want to be there, and then I ended up leaving again. So um,
Wow.
being on my own is it's how I figured out, and I started seeing a therapist, and I started talking to my doctor more, and I graduated high school on time. I still work here and there. Right now I'm on maternity leave, so that's all I do is try to volunteer, and I do my custom face stuff. But my biggest thing is just trying to uplift other women too. Like, I see a lot of people struggle, and no one's perfect. There's always going to be something, in everybody.
I think one of the
that everything's perfect, that's really wrong.
Yeah, it's true. I think that it's the power of changing the way you think. Like when people start to realize, like if you get up in the morning and you're thinking about the past, or you're dealing with something heavy, you can have that depression. Especially if you've had a tough childhood. I can see why you do struggle with depression, because until you become aware of, when you wake up in the morning, your past is heavy. It almost pulls you back. If you can imagine that, you wake up, you've got this heavy past, and until you let it go and have something really amazing to push you forward, then you can sort of free from that. That's what hurt. I did myself go through depression a couple of years ago, and really start to understand the depth of like how you think. And you actually have to, when you wake up in the morning, I watch so many YouTube videos on personal growth, and if you wake up in the morning, you literally should start every day, you should be like, today is going to be a great day, even if you don't think it's going to be. You just say it. And so I have like these dry erase markers, and I write on my bathroom mirror. I don't know if you've ever done this. You should. It's super powerful. Write on your bathroom mirror, today is going to be a great day. So you see it all the time, and and it's that being able to switch your mindset to positive, especially when you've had a rough childhood, right?
Oh, my dog's coming.
Aww. I really appreciate you talking to me. We'll put the Faye's custom design. You make masks, right? Are you making masks?
Yes, I can make masks. I've been making quite a few, and I also have a machine that I can do some iron-ons and put them on. So I have a few on there, and I have more that are coming. So I have all kinds of
I will
children ones and adult.
Yeah, I will put the banner. We'll put the link in the comments. So if someone wants to check out your is it a Facebook page that you have your?
Yes. Yeah, it's a Facebook page.
Because she does like kids' teething rings, and she does beautiful jewelry where you can have a picture of your children or your dog, or I've seen some of your jewelry. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when are you going to see your fiance, do you think?
It would be wonderful if I could see him before Christmas, but if we can't, then it's going to be probably in the new year. Unfortunately.
Wow. And how are you feeling about the pandemic and what's happening? It's been going on for a while now, hasn't it?
It's been ridiculous. Like, I've been doing a lot of at one point, because my daughter, she does have Crohn's. So I'm very wary about people with certain, because she's a resilient little one, but when it comes to viruses, and I find that a lot of the medication that's supposed to help the virus, with any virus out there, it causes more harm to her than the virus actually does. So I try to avoid having her even near anybody that's contaminated by even even other regular viruses. So for a while there, I wouldn't let her do anything. I wouldn't let her see our neighbors, just because we didn't know how many people were happening. And then Medicine Hat, we've been pretty good so far. We've only had 16 in this entire time.
Oh, wow.
And that's throughout, yeah. So thank you, Medicine Hat, for actually paying attention. But I noticed, I went from crazy, want to put her in a bubble, to just starting to watch other countries. And I noticed that Taiwan, they didn't stop the world. They didn't stop the city. They continued on. They just made extra protocols. Yeah. And they've been good, and it'd be nice if we could find our own way to be the same way, because
If you wear your mask and hand sanitize everywhere, then you still have to live your life. But I just think keeping your bubble small and just wearing your mask and following the protocol of all the stores and
well,
right?
and it would be nice because then at least the airplanes can be, can be open again, and we can continue on with our lives, because some of us, especially military, you know, people don't realize that, just because they're soldiers doesn't mean they don't have families. And if they can't go to work and do their exercises, they can't be with their families.
I know.
It,
Yeah.
and for the longest time, I didn't understand that either. And being a military fiance, a soon to be military wife and kids and all that, like, we're friends with others that have been in it for so long, and they're like, this, they're used to the distance, but this virus is making it even worse.
I know. It's so hard.
We know some that are stuck in war across the world that they can't even come home because of the pandemic. And it's like, they don't even want to fight war anymore because this is worse than war. And even though, people are, pausing war for the stupid virus, they're being stuck in these countries trying to fight over a virus instead of, it's too much. And if only we knew how to, what's the word? Resolve it in a way that it can still go on, but we'd be more educated. Does that make sense?
There's a lot of information out there, but there's a lot of confusing information. So I know we just have to kind of do our part. And I think you have to respect everyone else's choices and not judge them, and just keep yourself safe. But anyway, we should probably sign off. I'll put the link to your website. Maybe people check it out and buy some jewelry or some masks.
Yeah, I do lots of custom stuff. I even do custom furniture. It's just, I'm a very creative person, and I don't like sitting still. So
yeah,
I find if I keep myself busy, it's the only thing that you can really do is keep yourself busy. And
that's true.
My daughter likes too. So there are some pieces of jewelry that my daughter actually made on there too. So.
Aw, that's cute. Okay, well, we'll put the link in the comments. And honestly, I thank you so much for joining me. You're such a sweet girl, and I admire you. You've gone through a lot in your life. And I just know that we aren't our past. And if every day you can they say you have to let go of your past to be able to live now, right? But it's a lot of work.
It is. So for 12 years, I resented my mom for so long, and I didn't talk to her, and I didn't talk to anybody. And like, I did speak to the other side of the family, just trying to because I've always wanted an actual family, and with all that craziness, it was tough. But I ended up realizing, and someone once told me that, the past is the past, and the only way that you're going to heal is if you face it head on, whether you like it or not. And if you don't want to forgive someone, then don't forgive them, but at least resolve and try to figure out why you resent them. And that was my biggest step, was actually, after 12 years, just talking to my mom, and then now having her out here to visit and actually meet her grandkids that she hasn't met. Helps a lot. Like, I've opened up, which it helps me mentally, physically, and emotionally, but it's also, it helps everybody else. And we actually can now see each other's views on what was happening then and what's happening now. So some people, they think that, talking about things, it makes you weak, but actually it makes you more strong and more powerful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think forgiving and really truly forgiving, and just saying, you is a gift for yourself, because you don't want to carry the heaviness of things. So you forgive them. It doesn't mean you have to spend lots of time with them, but you can forgive people and send them love. You say, I wish you as a person loved, but you're letting it go, but it doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of time with people that have hurt you. But it's just, yeah.
You can forgive someone and not have to talk to them ever again. Yeah. It's just a matter of instead of waking up with all that heaviness and, you know, depression, you can have the littlest bit of depression, but the more that you feel down and all that negativity, that depression eats away at you and you're making depression win.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
So
Yeah.
break the chains, talk
It's
about it,
true.
solve, you know.
Get lots of fresh air, try to watch funny movies, find
Yes,
joy in the moment, and be grateful
yes,
for what's right in front of you.
exactly. And if you have depression, even if it's like a walk to your mailbox, as long as you get that littlest bit of fresh air and a few steps in, it even though it doesn't seem like much for anybody who struggles, it's that little bit of achievement helps build that confidence and break that depression down.
Yeah, it's
So,
true. It's true.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You're amazing. And yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch because you're in the Compassion Project, and I'll put the link in the comments. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks
Thanks for
everyone for watching. Okay, bye.
watching.